Alright, this week a big Champions League week that we are going on after the games that have been played in the various leagues now on them. So then obviously there's going to be a lot of conversation of which player is ready, which player is not ready, the teams what they stand for and stuff like that. It's really interesting conversation across board from all the various teams you made this come on. Of course, like I said yesterday, it was supposed to be a not so good game or week for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca, but Maresca managed to get her all-important winner of home. Congratulations to Enzo Maresca and Emrant. There is some more to talk about. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I made this on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, there is an update on the football club Barcelona. Big win away from home. Big win from home. It's a big game. Spanish La Liga. And really interesting match that Barca knew that they had to win, especially with the El Gran Clasico in mind. I mean, you just cannot lose guard. You can't let it go when it comes to the Gran Clasico. Barca needed to win some match, and then they managed to do some win that game. Let's talk about all the analysis that was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So subscribe to the channel, and I'm sure subscribe to the channel, turn on notification in the notification turn, Make sure do choose all just so anytime your content ever available, you are the first person to have it here or I say on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube and BBR and you come pa and farmer. Where do we start from? Let's start from last night because it was a big one from Enzo Maresca and Emrant. And I said it said people kept on talking about Maresca and the fact that, let me say a big thank you to the two people who have made this show a possibility. First off, Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop, or best place when it comes to anything spare parts or country, I say there, then it's Yesumo. Open spare parts, yeah, they just go to Abosoka Post Office, Accra, or so to me, call him there, then he does what he calls the nationwide delivery. Call him on 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. Of course, on the other side, MOB clothing. Say clothing in Tade apparel. You want to look clean there, then it's MOB clothing. Please reach out to MOB clothing or to do a flower station or to the and a MOB clothing. Michelle, call them, let them take very good care of you. Everything that you wear, MOB clothing will take very good care of it. If you are not in a car, whether wholesaling or retailing, then just call MOB clothing in 0200-668-708. 0200-668-708. MOB clothing for them and take very good care of you. Something propped up in my mind last night after I was doing the reviews, and I felt I need to put it out. Now, what is the thing that popped up in my mind? See, Enzo Maresca has changed the life of Reece James. As a somewhere in Abrabo, I don't think that Reece James believed that he was going to be able to play this many games under Enzo Maresca. You see, one of the reasons why I am a big fan of Maresca and his work is the fact that this manager doesn't care about taking decisions that are quote unquote unpopular. And I'll tell you about it. First off, Abraham Maresca, Babaye Chelsea manager, Reece had those injury issues. The injury issues did not come under Enzo Maresca. He had them. Now, when Reece had those injury issues, Chelsea as a club and whoever the coach was there always constantly were looking for solutions. Now, Mikaya, when Maresca came, Reece got injured twice in preseason. Osino Babe Inefrim, just to know Babe Inefrim Nana Reece, a colleague say, we're feeling the on the dining. Then he went to do again. Chelsea allowed him to go to Dubai to do the rehabilitation work there. Maresca told him, say, he will do without Reece. Omunjano no healing. He should go through the healing processing. To the extent that he had to build himself. Now, when Reece came back, he decided that he wasn't going to play Reece James every game. Everybody just once a week, everybody just one game a week, or subsequently. And I remember saying at the time, a lot of fans will be questioning Enzo Maresca and asking questions. I didn't see Enzo Maresca player now, or the bono, but just one game per week now, man, what other games that Reece can play. And I remember almost every time I come and sit here and I ask fans that people are funny. Because the same people, when Reece is not playing, they will send messages that, oh, I'm on Tom Reece in Yadie, a player cannot be getting injured just like that, and all of those things. And I kept on saying myself, I see, that is the the normal behavioral stuff of a regular average football fan. I mean, then there's nothing wrong with that. People have their opinions and they'll stick by it, and I respect people for their opinions. I mean, people's opinions are theirs and they'll stand by it no matter how you see it on them, and I respect that. But then again, the reason why I will respect Maresca most is the fact that he stands by his as well, and it's the reason why, for me also, when I've analyzed the situation, I've believed that this is the right way to go, I stand by it. It's the reason why you probably get to the top quicker. And Maresca knew that, okay, your manager is James here, and me Rashi boy, you know, I feel back now this about one game pet. No about this James just too much respect. Now I feel okay, or managing I feel or money about more. But I do baby now feel catch a James say, or be man about more games, but some more games no bono. All my name more right back on man up and down the touchline, because when it goes up and down the touchline, there is a tendency that although Reece James will cover more ground, he will probably subject his muscle to a lot of more stress, and that can lead to another muscle tear, muscle wear and tear again, and he doesn't want that to recur the injury as soon as possible. It doesn't mean that Reece James will never get injured again, but then to reduce the tendency of getting injured now. And for me, that was a smart way of managing a brand friend Reece James. See, let me give you an example. When Benoit Badiashile came back, he played against Benfica. Or Bossa Benfica match, you know, over the weekend, or some Super Bowl, best Liverpool gave the ball 90 minutes. It was wrong. And it was just because Chelsea did not have any available centre back. Joshua Champone, Benoit Penanaka. Ideally, Enzo Maresca wouldn't have played Benoit Badiashile. Now, Benoit Badiashile is injured again, and he has to be out until December. Imagine what psychologically that would do to our bright friend Benoit Badiashile. Now, that is what he is doing to Wesley Fofana and Romeo Lavia. And he spoke about the fact that he's protecting Wesley Fofana. So by career, Wesley, since he came to Chelsea, have been getting recurring injuries. And there was a statement in Enzo Maresca's post-match press conference where he was clear on Abranti, friend of Benoit Badiashile, why he is not going to play Benoit Badiashile, why he did not bring Abranti, friend of Wesley Fofana. So the traveling team for Chelsea did not include Abranti, your friend of Wesley Fofana. Wesley was not part of the team of players that joined Chelsea for to go to Nottingham to go and play in some match. On Enzo Maresca, he says he's protecting him. He says he wants Wesley Fofana to recuperate better. Send Wesley Fofana back, he'll be able to play consistently. And there was no injury to Romeo Lavia. Lavia was taken out because I feel no injury, we bought the game, I think one of the matches before, Liverpool match, we bought a few minutes, and then we bought 45 minutes. It's the maximum that he has to play. And once he played 45 minutes, Maresca decided, no, it's okay. My man resting on. Let him go and sit somewhere and then bring other players in to come and play. And see, the plan was for Lavia to play 45 minutes and then Moises Caicedo to also play 45 minutes. For me, that was a smart way of managing our friend Romeo Lavia until they get the full fitness. I've said that in those bigger games in the Champions League, when the Champions League goes farther and all of those things, Chelsea will need that controlling ability of Romeo Lavia. They will need Enzo Fernandez, they will need Romeo Lavia, they will need Moises Caicedo to sit in the middle of the park and then control games and then do the right thing for the team. Without them, it's going to be difficult to play those high-profile matches and get the results that you have to get from them. It is really, really going to be difficult for Chelsea when it comes to signing Manemano in terms of the players that are going to play, attitude on the pitch, keeping the players fit, and you're very, very important. And I like the way Enzo Maresca is managing star players now. It means that one Shinia this week, against Tima, your friend Ajax Amsterdam, Chelsea most likely are going to come in and then get a bunch of friend Romeo Lavia to go in there and go and play some of the matches now on them, which is solid in terms of the good stuff that Chelsea are expecting to have a one team now to get a bunch of your friend Romeo Lavia playing the big Champions League games. It's important this season. Chelsea have had the core of the team gone to injuries. Enzo Fernandez right now injured, Cole Palmer injured, Liam Delap injured, Levi Cole centre back. I mean, almost the most important players to be able to get a result in the various departments have all been injured, but for just a few of them. And then Asema Enzo Maresca kind of say what we need to do with West is what we have done with Reece James. Now Reece is playing 3 games in a week. he is fit, he is good. So for me, Enzo Maresca has done a very, very good job. Yesterday, I chanced on a little data. Say, as at this point in the English Premier League, Chelsea are the second highest goal scoring team in our Premier League. Second highest, only behind Manchester City. Now, do you know the thing? Chelsea have had almost their number one striker out in Liam Delap. 2, the most highest goal scorer for Chelsea in 2 seasons now, out with injury in Cole Palmer. But still, the team is delivering. And that tells you the quality of the team that Enzo Maresca is building and the quality as a manager that he's being able to build. For me, I give a lot of respect to Enzo Maresca when it comes to the job that he's doing at Chelsea Football Club and how good things are going to go. This news came up in the course of the week and I need to explain it better because I've not done a video on it. Chelsea are in line to receive 60 million for franchise sponsor. The only issue, however, is the right organization who Chelsea wants to choose. Their list of companies, and then it was Lucas Raczek and a Bible reported that story. And he said that Chelsea have approached a number of global brands about sponsorship, including Red Bull, GmbH, Red Bull, like Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull, all of those people, Oracle, and then have Lenovo and Qatar Airways, as mentioned earlier. In recent months, the club has also been in talks with other companies from the technology, entertainment, and airline sector. So there are 3 sectors: the technology sector, the airline sector, and also the entertainment sector that Chelsea have been talking to. So the likes of Lenovo more in technology, the likes of Qatar Airways is in the airline sector. Of course, Red Bull will fall under the entertainment category. And Chelsea wants 60 million. They want 60 million from franchise sponsors and all. And that's why they are not rushing things. They are making sure at the end of the day, by the time things are going to go on, Chelsea are going to get the results that they want. They are going to be able to get the kind of players normal pay and Red Bull for number 1 that Chelsea are going into to see they can get them to come in and come and sponsor them and get the money that they are looking for. It's very, very important that Chelsea gets all of those results. They need some money, need to add to the quality of to the good work that they're already doing in terms of quality, and they born and all of those things that Chelsea are being able to do. They need all of those things. It is very, very important Chelsea for when it comes to the kind of players that they are bringing in, the kind of football that they are bringing in, all of those things. So they need to make sure like I said, there is injury to the core of Chelsea Football Club, and they need to be able to turn things around. Yesterday, the good thing was the fact that there was an update on Chelsea for a new director. Chelsea to get a new director. Now, your friend Dave Fallows, in the Jumano specific. One of the best in terms of time when Liverpool Kofa Mohamed Salah Maba, time when Liverpool Kofa Brantia, your friend Bobby Firmino Mabano. He is more or less like the director of the sporting directors. Chelsea was sporting directors, but at an executive level, they will have a boss that the sporting directors will report to. So he is like the experienced head on a Wayne Stanley, ni stewards mo, and it Joe Mobile Juma Boom, and it shows mo. So they do the scouting, and he tells them that okay, Charlie, you share this area. He is more experienced. I ran Liverpool for air building almost scored to go on and win trophies all over Europe. A brand here, your friend Dave Fallows was right there in the conversations. And Chelsea are pushing something the baby Ojai and Juma Liverpool a couple of months ago. Just a couple of months ago. I think just a few months ago. That's when Dave Fallows left his job at Liverpool Football Club. Now, since then, Chelsea have tried to bring in Dave Fallows to come in and do their job. There's other reports read. It says that he has Dave Fallows, the celebrated former Liverpool recruitment expert, is set to take up a similar senior role at Chelsea. He has been approached by Bedad Egbali and his fellow investors to join the World Resource Recruitment team at Stamford Bridge. He is expected to have a range of duties, including data, player development pathways and loans, and football operations. So everything from the sporting director, scouting of players, decision making on players comes down to Dave Fallows to be the boss in that regard. The latter is expected to include recruitment of coaches and staff, as well as players. And of course, it's going to play a huge role in terms of who will get a job at Chelsea. The technical staff at Chelsea, is going to play a huge role in terms of their recruitment. I mean, it's important because one of the things that has been lacking in that area at Chelsea Football Club is the lack of experience also in that area. And yes, whilst you commend Wayne Stanley and then Shields and Stewart for doing a pretty good job, one of the things that has been missing is really the experience, the experience head that will guide almost all of them and say that, Charlie, we have to go this way. Charlie, we need to sort out that way. Charlie, we need to fix it this way. I mean, that was something that has not been seen at Chelsea Football Club. And Chelsea essentially, with this appointment, bring in an experienced Dave Fallow who can understand and then gets the job done. I mean, in that regard, I mean, it's positive news for Chelsea Football Club, given the importance of what the importance of what he can bring in terms of sack quality, I mean, it's good stuff, and I think that it's a very, very good thing that Chelsea have to make sure say they sort it out. They need to sort it out and bring in the quality of a brand friend Dave Fallow, who comes in to come and get a job done and then sorts things out. It's important so a brand friend Dave Fallow will be able to get a job done over there to make sure that things are sorted. Who imagine Willie Caballero standing on the touchline doing the job? Might not have the legendary playing career at the bridge, but life has its own beautiful twists, from backup goalkeeper to boss on the bench. Then Stinney really writes 8 great strips. Of course, Willie Caballero essentially getting the job done. According to Sam Witzel, ex-Liverpool director of scouting and recruitment, Dave Fallow, 65 years old, has been approached by Bedard Bali, scouting and data, player development and pathways. That's the job that he's going to come in. Based on available information, he was director of scouting at Liverpool recruitment from 2012 to 2014. So that time then Liverpool for a taking Europe by storm, and they needed somebody to really come in and then steady the ship, guide things around, and make sure that they get to the very, very top. What was important, what was needed in that area was to make sure, he got those players that fits the plan of Liverpool. I mean, sometimes data will tell you something, but data doesn't tell you about emotions and temperament and all of that. It can give you an idea, but it doesn't solely. So he was in charge of players, Mr. Roberto Firmino, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, and Alisson Becker. All of these guys came in terms of helping the players to come in and deliver and then do their job. In that regard, it's very important quality display in terms of what Dave Fallow was able to do at Liverpool and what he brings to Chelsea Football Club, and why Chelsea are very, very keen on bringing a brand friend Dave Fallow to it. And that's 3 points that Chelsea got away from home. The City gone, like I said, was an important one. And 2 things really struck me. First half, not good enough. Second half, good enough. What change? Enzo Maresca's ability to bring the changes as quickly as possible, bringing in players that change it all in terms of that ability to deliver. Like I said, Chelsea are without Cole Palmer, Liam Delap, and some of the most important players. So it is very, very important for them to start picking up points slowly now, just so by the time Cole Palmer and the likes come, they'll be able to pick up from there. It's important. It's important that Chelsea able to do that. It's a lot of people expected Estevao to move. Of course, people are talking about Estevao Willian and the quality that he brings to games. The best player that Chelsea will had on the field of play, especially in between the lines, was a brand friend Joao Pedro. The battling ability, the physicality, winning of duels, picking up balls from deep, and then pushing the team forward was one of the best things that your friend Joao Pedro was able to do. Solid in that regard. Again, I think I need to also give credit to our friend McGill. It is a player that I've constantly said that he needed time to adapt to it, but just when McGill came on, he got a job done. The hold-up play, being a nuisance to centre backs, Sani Manimano, our friend McGill got a job done in that regard and sorted things. He needs to get a lot of credit. Alejandro Garnacho, after the game, spoke to Chelsea. You'll see we're in a good position in the league, 5 points off the top spots, especially after we have had a little bit of bad luck with red cards. For example, the game against Brighton, we should win that game. A game against Manchester United, if we play 11-11, I feel we could be top. But of course, the red cards change a lot of things over there, and that is what Alejandro Garnacho is talking about in terms of the games that have come in. Robert Sanchez again, another solid all year. I mean, Robert Sanchez in 2025 has been great. A lot of people say whatever they want to see, but Robert Sanchez has been brilliant in terms of how he handles his things. Maresca on another red card after the game. Something that's not good. I say again, it's something we can do better, but I'm not concerned. There are some of you who ask why I'm not concerned. We can avoid it for sure, but for me, the desire of the players is important. It's useless to make a second yellow card with a foul, but Malo showed his desire. It's the balance, but we can avoid that for sure. That is exactly what Enzo Maresca is talking about in terms of the balance and all of that. Maresca was asked about McGee. Say I think McGee was on for 15 minutes against Liverpool, and it was very good. After 1 minute, he won a corner today, and we need that for Mark and Josh. I really like Josh. We showed him confidence last season, and he is doing well. It's important that he is ready when others are out. Anytime that he's ready, it's important that he gets into and play. That is, solid stuff on him. I think that Enzo Maresca definitely proved that he'll be able to do the job, and he's done the job and got the job done. They asked him about saying thanks, and it was a very bad feeling to be there. I prefer to be in the dugout. We struggled in the first half, but in the second half it was a little bit better, and we got the goals and then finished it off over there. Very, very important. And then in the English Premier League, however, how the table is looking, and Arsenal were able to win their game against Team friend Fulham away from home. Scrappy. When people thought that when Chelsea struggled against that Fulham side was for nothing. Scrappy game for Arsenal against Fulham. It does not matter how they do it. Me, I don't care. Whether it's just by corner kick, just by whatever kick, whatever. It doesn't matter. Arsenal needed to win that match, and then they went away from home and they delivered that job. 1-0 away from home, they got a job done. Congratulations to them. Also, on the other side of the conversation was that Crystal Palace Bournemouth game that ended 3-3. Andoni Iraola versus Oliver Glasner. Bournemouth were up by 2-0, and then everything just changed all of a sudden, and then the games became very, very funny. Arsenal won the game by 0-0, and then there is the big one, which is the Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Manchester United. Who wins that one? Who wins that one? Who wins the big Merseyside derby between Liverpool and Manchester United? It is really, really intriguing. If you really want to know exactly what that game is going to be, I think that Liverpool obviously have the upper hand at home, but Manchester United in chaotic games like this can have something from it. It's just that it's at Anfield, and Anfield is a difficult place. Has always been a difficult place for Manchester United to go, and that is why Manchester United need to find something more than that. But Liverpool also, there are opportunities from them because they are down. Psychologically, they have not been able to win matches in the last 3 games that they've played. It has affected them. So there's going to be an opportunity for Manchester United. If they pick those opportunities, definitely they'll be able to hit Liverpool when they go away from there. There's going to be that big one between Aston Villa and also Tottenham Hotspur in that regard. Huge conversation in the conversation of the English Premier League, something we are going to see on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, Enzo Maresca gave an update on the injury of Abrante and Enzo Fernandez. I'll say it's not too much of a big deal on World Clasico against Real Madrid having any difference with Hansi Flick being suspended. And after the game, I know Barcelona boy at home, Abrante and Hansi Flick had a red card and he's out. He is out of the conversation. He's not going to be in the dugout for Barcelona against Real Madrid. It's going to be Xabi Alonso alone who's going to be the dugout with Hansi Flick's assistants. It's interesting, and people are asking themselves, will it have an impact on the game state of that game? And about Madrid phoning him said today they need to focus on their game that they are playing away from home against Getafe. Only Getafe in Hembo. You need to focus on the Getafe game. You focus on Getafe, gets the results, then obviously you'll be able to make sure you stay in that game as long as possible. Lamine Yamal in his last 9 matches, 5 goals and 4 assists for Football Club Barcelona. Really, really impressive, even with all of those injuries and what's not. So Lamine comes back and delivers. He comes back and delivers. constantly. That's exactly what Lamine Yamal is doing. Mundo Deportivo anymore. It is all Barcelona, and they've written there, Blaugrana Fury, talking about the anger of Blaugrana, the anger of a brand here friend Ronald Araujo to come on and get that win against Girona, and also the anger that got Hansi Dieter Flick sent off for being a little bit disrespectful to the referee on the night. And Mundo Deportivo say a fury over there. Barca needed to win. It didn't matter how. In games like this, for me, it would have been a big blow to Football Club Barcelona if they had lost some match, drawn some match, against Team Efeni Girona, especially with the Grand Clasico on the horizon. I said it several times before the game. The Barca just cannot afford to drop points. They have to find ways to win some match. And in front of Sport folds wrath, pride, and victory. Wrath, pride, and victory. Talking about that win, anger, the pride, and then the victory for Football Club Barcelona. That is what made a difference. Of course, it was a brand here from Ronald Araujo again who came off the bench when almost everybody who left the pitch. That is when they came back to come and get a job done. 3 takeaways from that game against Girona from Football Club Barcelona. There are things that we obviously learned from Barcelona for match on see, I think that Barca defense don't have real issues that people need to start talking about. Honestly speaking, I think that the opportunities in there. Maybe Pau Kubasi left center back. Maybe Eric Garcia. Maybe that pair has not been fixed yet. But then Hansi Dieter Flick should know by now that his best bet in defense is Andreas Christensen. I mean, I said it this time at the beginning when Barca were thinking of selling either Raul or Christensen, that Barcelona's best bet in defense, that best pair in defense, it includes a brand here friend Andreas Christensen. And this Christensen is part of Barcelona's real top performance that can get a job done. First half against Girona, the Mujik, Charlie, it was very, very funny. And again, Barca have tried from last season from pressing and counter-pressing aggressively with and without the ball. But since this season began, for some time now this season, Barca's press looks non-existent to me. Barcelona displayed against Paris Saint-Germain while the entire team is to be blamed. The defense continues to take the spotlight. It's the biggest worry, just as they did against Luis Enrique's men. Catalans control the opening 15 minutes excellently, suffocating the visitors and not giving them a chance to even enter their area. It fell apart after Pedro's opener. However, they slagged off and handed Girona more of the ball. Individual errors began creeping in after Barcelona took the lead, and Girona got irregular chances to break on the counter. What was shocking, however, is the fact that the visitors managed to break Barcelona's offside trap almost every time they went on. I mean, the offside trap there is non-existent when you don't have an aggressive press and counter press. So press no and no counter press to any solid. Forget about say oh yeah, your friend is saying oh yeah, how did they call it? Oh yeah, highline. It's not going anywhere. If you don't have a solid press and counter press, then forget about it. A lot has been said about the team's highline defensive line, but it's clear that is not what is working as well last season this time around. I think after the game, Hansi Flick even spoke about it as well. Said this season, the highline and the press and the counter press, no, it's not going as much as is expected to go. And again, I like what Frankie de Jong did on the day. See, on a week where he signed his contract, when Barca needed something, the one Barca player who did not stop coming was Frankie de Jong, and real captain for Football Club Barcelona, putting in the effort, pushing it through, going back to back, going bank for back, and making sure at the end of the day he delivers in that regard. No? That is exactly what our brand friend Frankie de Jong did for Football Club Barcelona as the captain of the side. That is pure stuff, solid stuff. For our brand friend Frankie de Jong. Barca's performance last night was far from perfect. One has to be lauded. The dedication, commitment of Frankie de Jong. He was entrusted with a new role and the responsibility of leaving the midfield for 90 minutes. The Dutchman played in an attacking midfield last night and alternating times with Pedri. Was a fantastic position and continues to get a job done. And for me, that is what he rocked. That 60 passes all through, all of that. For me, it was a brilliant one for Football Club Barcelona. Of course, it's important. I don't know if Barca have won a new number 9. But Barca needed somebody to come in and give them goals and it was Abrantia, your friend of Ronald Araujo. Now the big question is that the red card to Hans-Dieter Flick, is it going to affect them? And is it going to affect them El Clasico, or it's not going to affect them in the El Gran Clasico? What is exactly going to happen? El Clasico, is Madrid going to get an advantage because Abrantia, your friend Hans-Dieter Flick, injured, and now Madrid have won 7 straight games against Getafe. The club have won 8 of the last 10 matches against Getafe with a draw and then 1 loss. When Madrid go to Getafe, they tend to get good results against them, but it's away from home. That is why the game is a little bit of a banana skin game. Other goalie, the last time Madrid played against Getafe, he was on top on a pulley strength thing now, left, right, center. House space, in front of the block, everything. It was out the goalie that controlled things. Now, 78 minutes, 99 touches, 68 passes, 87 passing, 5 duels won, 22 tackles, 3 key passes, 4 shots, 2 takeovers completed, and then 1 foul for my bright friend Ada goalie. A real gem in the middle of the pack for team my friend Real Madrid, and that is why our brand friend Xabi Alonso is big on making sure say our brand friend Ada goalie is a constant feature when the team. It's important say our brand friend Ada goalie goes into such matches, and it's important that he comes in to go and play. Of course, my brand friend Eduardo Camavinga is back. Ferland Mendy back into the conversation as well for Football Club Barcelona. Whilst there is also our brand friend Jude Bellingham. We expect to say it's going to be Valverde, Asensio, Militao, Carreras, Gole, Chimeni, Bellingham, Franco, Mbappe, and Vinny Jr. Very, very combative, solid, aggressive. Midfield that is going to get a job done. The last time Jose Luis Munera has been appointed to referee Real Madrid versus Getafe. The last time that he officiated a Madrid game, he gave Jude Bellingham a red card. That is it for me. I say what I see on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, guys. I can't several times. If you're an investor, and then you've not picked up the codes there. The codes are in the description of the video. Pick them up and give yourself a very big chance of winning something. I see on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'll see you later in the day on today. Do take care. Bye bye.